Hi guys, I'm Rachel Gurjar and today we're in the test kitchen with Simply Organic and I'm going to make a delicious butternut squash and apple soup. Alright, so I know how busy everybody is. It's holiday season, you're busy at work, you're busy entertaining. That's why this is a super quick recipe and it has under 10 ingredients. So let's begin. So we have wedge broth, Granny Smith apples, some onion, 1 butternut squash, garlic, a little bit of olive oil, vanilla, and cinnamon. So this recipe is inspired by my trip to India that I took with Simply Organic, where we visited black pepper and turmeric farms. So I know these are kind of warm spices that you would generally use in a sweet preparation, but hear me out. I'm using this particular Vietnamese cinnamon because of its sweet, bold flavor enhanced by high oil content. And vanilla is kind of sweet and floral, but when added to the right savory dishes, I have seen chefs use them in savory preparations and that's what inspired me. I would like to compare it to, say, rose water in Indian cuisine. So we use it, yes, in sweet preparations, but a lot of times we'll use it in savory preparations. And just like vanilla, like vanilla has really sweet floral notes, but when combined with the right savory dish, it adds so much depth and flavor to that dish. And you'll see, like at the end of this, when you taste it, why I'm adding it. So super easy. Now we're ready to begin. I'm just going to use a peeler to get this tough skin out. I like to run the peeler twice till I'm able to see the orange squash. So you want to run it at least a couple times over the same spot. All right, so we have this all peeled and you can see all of the orange part. I'm going to go ahead and just cut them into big chunks. You could rinse these out and toss them with a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, and roast them. As long as the chunks are the same size, you should be good. All this is going to get cooked down. And we're also using Granny Smith. They are tart, but I just like how they taste. I'm now going to add our olive oil, let that warm up slightly, and add our onions and garlic. So we're not looking to brown anything, just sweat it and cook it out. You don't want the heat to be too high. Our onions have sweated for a little bit and they are ready. So we're going to add our spices now. The first one I'm adding is some cinnamon. And this is going to be the dominant spice, intense, sweet, and almost candy-like in flavor, which goes perfectly with this soup. And stir it around so that we don't burn anything. And because this recipe is inspired by my trip to India that I took a few months ago with Simply Organic, I'm going to add just a little bit of that garam masala spice mix. This is kind of just going to be in the background, lending some depth and flavor to this soup, and you only need a little bit. These spices are very potent, so a little bit goes a long way. So I'm going to add less than half a teaspoon of cayenne. We can start to smell all of those spices really getting cooked in the oil with the onions, which means it's time to add our apples and butternut squash. So give everything a nice mix. It smells like Christmas in here right now. Now we're going to add vegetable broth. You could add water or vegetable stock. I did try this recipe with chicken stock and that flavor was too overpowering, but if that's something you like, feel free to add whatever kind of broth you're into. I tend to test a recipe anywhere between 2 to 3, sometimes 4 if it's a baking recipe, but yeah, we want to make sure that it's all ready, well tested for you. So when you try to make it, everything goes right and it tastes great. We've been cooking this for about 20 to 25 minutes with the lid closed. And this is ready. All of this squash and apple is nice and tender. So we're going to blend it up into a nice smooth soup. Let's scoop this in small batches. You can wait a couple of minutes if you feel like this is too hot. Let's get blending. So I don't have the top off here because this is really hot and you don't want the steam to get trapped. So I'm going to kind of hold this here and still leave some space. Ooh. I'm using a high-speed blender, but if you have an immersion blender and want to kind of blend it directly in the pot, feel free to do that. I just feel with this, it gets really, really smooth, and I know all of the chunks are going to get blended up for sure, and I don't really have to like strain or double strain it later. Feel free to do whatever you're comfortable and have whatever equipment you have at home. Now it's time to add our finishing touches to the soup. The first thing I'm going to do is add lime juice. So I'm using half a lime, but however you prefer. A little bit of salt. And last but not least, our vanilla. Okay, so just a little bit because these are very, very potent and a little bit goes a long way. Sprinkle that in and mix. Lots of flavors going on here. There's sweet, some salty, sour, some floral notes with the vanilla. Okay, let's plate. It's the perfect start to any meal, or if you were serving this as the main dish as well, you could just increase the portion. Especially during the holidays, make this in advance and you're good to go. Garnish with some chives, pumpkin seeds for crunch, and just a little drizzle of cream. Okay, time to try. This is so warm and cozy. Perfect for like the colder fall months. I really love this recipe because it's inspired by my trip to India, and it reminds me of the awesome farms that I got to see, these amazing farmers, and actually see how these spices are grown. So after I came back here, I was like, all right, this is the holiday season. How can I bring all of this together? So this is super simple and easy recipe, guys. Perfect for the holiday season and a great way to include spices in your daily meals. And remember, you don't need to use a lot, you just need to use a little bit because they're super potent and flavorful. I hope you will like this recipe and try it and share it with your family. If you want the recipe, go to thefeedfeed.com, and I'll see you again next time.